Hey, what's up, everybody? Joey J. Ping here, checking in live, respectmyregion.com. Another day on the North American Weed Tour, man. I'm here with the homie, CEO, founder of Hometown Cultivation, Carrie Bennett. We're in Springfield, Oregon. We're going to take a tour of your facility today. Well, you guys grow in a living soil, organic, I say the quotes because that word is not allowed technically from like the federal certification, but you grow it in an organic method.
Yes.
It comes clean, organic in your guys' eyes.
Yes.
That's good enough for us, all right, folks, because not everybody knows about clean green. Carrie, what are we going to see here today in your facility?
We're going to take a tour and follow the journey of the plant. So start out in the mom room, head over to the nursery, and then on the production side, we'll take a look at a room that just got planted literally yesterday and end up looking at a room that is being harvested in 2 days. So pretty much a full journey.
The North American Weed Tour is all about highlighting quality cannabis companies and all about showcasing the best of the best. Now, Carrie, you were talking a little bit of that mess on LinkedIn recently, and I'm here for it because we don't want to smoke mids, and I don't want to spend my money on average product, and I don't really want to showcase average brands. And so I'm really particularly excited to check out the quality of the grow, and I'll also share the tea here a little bit too, folks. I have seen the nugs already. We have seen some of the end result product. You saw my face, Carrie. I was pretty excited. Smelled good. Nugs were good. Great strains. Now we got to check out the grow. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Boom! North American Weed Tour. Let's get it. This is the belly of the beast. We're gonna go inside.
This is it.
All right, so no minors permitted, no one else is allowed in, we can't consume, you guys are growing weed here compliantly.
That's it. One of the cool things that we do is every month we do a coffee world tour. Some coffee comes in from a company called Atlas. None of us know where we're going except for Rachel. All come together, talk about coffee. One hand, it gets us together. Two is we're doing a world tour, even though we're not leaving Springfield. But if you think about it, we're dissecting the flavors and aromas of coffees. And I really think that that helps us be able to communicate better on cannabis as far as understanding, hey, what flavors are you detecting from this?
Yeah.
And versus, yourself or somebody else. Because at the end of the day, we're doing this for consumers. So the consumers deserve a better option tomorrow than they did yesterday. Look at some of the best musicians in the world, right? The old Delta blues musicians. They're 90 years old. They're playing so much better than they did in their 30s.
Yeah.
Look at the big hair band from the 80s. They're doing the same riffs again and again through retirement. So we prefer to lean more towards the Delta blues mindset of continuous learning. Starting out, got our mom room. Come on in. So what you'll see throughout our entire facility is we use 4x8, 18-inch deep beds. It's all living soil. We feed only organic. And really, we spend the majority of our time understanding how do we make our soil better. So our mindset is this. We don't feed plants. We feed the soil. The soil feeds the plants. Those wind chimes are tuned to nature's pentatonic scale. We hear wind chimes. The plants hear bees. They hear leaves whistling. So it makes them feel that they're actually out in nature, more of a companion plant. Does that work? And I'd say, hey man, I don't know. Does your car run better when it's clean? If it does, and it makes the grower happy, then it translates. All of our genetics are separated between the mom room and the nursery, which is next door. And so in other words, we had a real big week this week preparing for the next production runs. So we came and cut down a lot of moms and then turned around and replanted. So this is a replant from 2 days ago, and this will be that size in 6 to 8 weeks, which is big enough for us to cut on for production. This is the Durban Nights. Blue Dream, she just got cleaned out. We'll be cutting on her probably in a week or two. I pretty much take care of the moms, and then when we go to the nursery, we hand those over to Rachel, and then when we go to production, we hand those to our GM, Sam, and Spence, and everyone gets to specialize in their particular area. So as a grower, my mindset, and we've all discussed this, is hey, if I'm able to just focus on the mom health, and then Rachel's job is to take that health, maintain it, and enhance it, by the time it goes to production, the guys are getting such a healthy root system and such a healthy plant that it's able to thrive and really do what we're wanting it to do. We're trying to get a customer something that has no synthetic chemicals whatsoever, including what they ate and what was sprayed on them. Our facility is really small, right? Less than 10,000 square feet of flower canopy. We have 198 plants in the room. It'll be split with 96 on one side, 96 on the other. We need 120 cuts off of this to pick our favorite 96 to go in, and have enough to create new moms in here.
What's going on with these ones down here?
White Tahoe cookies. Shout out Cypher. This is it's the Prism Oz, man. The SFVOG times what he created called Zypher, which is basically a gelato Skittles. I'd say this appeals more to those people that are just looking for that just raw funk. So you guys are seeing this room on a replant. This is the peanut tart. We bred this. This is basically the PB souffle, which is do-si-do lava cake. And then we hit that with the Candy Rain from Jigga. We were fortunate enough to get a very wonderful male. When we breed, we use real pollen, so we don't feminize seeds, and we hunt for the males and the females. So we got a wonderful male of Candy Rain, which of course is the gelato London pound cake. Do what everybody does and you hit it on whatever you got. And by the time we came out of it 2 years later, we ended up with the crema de uva, jam, and the peanut tart. People don't really think too much about soil, right? All we do here is create microbes. So on this 18-inch soil bed, the top 6 inches per se is your bacterial zone, and the bottom 12 is your fungal zone. You don't want to disturb those once they're established. You could bring in, not that we would, the plant that was infected at the root zone with Fusarium or something, and put it in here, and the trichoderma that's in here would overtake that and heal that plant probably in about 7 days.
Look, you had roots in here. There's lava rocks in here.
It's all there, man. It's all happening.
What's the white stuff called again?
The Perlite?
Yeah, that's right. That's just to help it aerate, right?
Yep, and you got little springtails and all sorts of beneficial bugs in here. 99.9% of the life in here you can't see with your naked eye, but the plants will tell you if it's there or not. It's a one soil system for moms. It's a one soil system for babies. Once you go to production, still a one soil system, but Sam and Spence will tweak things just a little bit based on the needs of the plant. Silverhawk OG will always show you that she's deficient in nitrogen. We don't really like feeding nitrogen. When we do a compost tea, we'll throw more earthworm castings in there or bat guano, right? For that one. And give her a little bit more nitrogen. So we just took cuts. That is Silverhawk OG. This is the peanut butter breath. We do all of our cuts, send them over to the nursery. We'll keep this one going until the nursery roots out. Then we kill this, put the new moms in. We're always either taking down a big plant, putting new moms in, and then like I said, these in 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks on the long end, will be like that.
Welcome to the nursery, or as I like to say, the Jurassic Park room. We start off, of course, in the mom's room, and then you bring in your cuts and your little babies, and they go into the domes, where they sit in here for, well, it actually depends on the cultivar, because some are just a beast from start to finish, and some just are more delicate, so they take a little longer. Deadhead OG. And I believe those are only, I want to say last weekend we took those cuts on the 9th. Jam's one of our ones that mean a lot to us. It has a great story behind it. So they sit in there and they get acclimated. They're medium, which is the cubes. And then they stay in there for, I would say, 10 to 19 days, depending on how the cultivar goes. From there, they go in.
They get potted?
Yeah. And I just actually did these 2 cultivars yesterday. These are babies, just planted yesterday. So we got PBB and crema. Peanut butter breath, crema de ula. And they stay here for a couple of weeks until it's time for us to plant. So then everything gets moved up. I would say it's 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks there.
How come these ones are so much taller?
These are from the batches that we actually planted a couple days ago. These are Deadhead OG. What we saw in the domes are new deadheads from little babies. And right here, this is what they look like when they're about to be planted.
GL.
Yeah, these are some phenos.
These are from seed?
Those are seedlings. You can definitely tell the difference from the plants when they're seeds to when they're from cuts off the mother.
So we have a run happening right now. We're on week 3 of flower. We're trying out the Caba LEDs, American made, Spokane, Washington, I believe, LEDs, which is new for us. So let's take a look. First and foremost, when we breed, we use real pollen, which means that our seeds are regular seeds, which means we're going to have males and females. We have 2 tables here. This is the Silverhawk OG. and the crema de uva. It's a little interesting. So crema de uva is something that we bred. It's our hottest seller. We took the grapple cake, which is grape cake times apples and bananas, and bred that with Candy Rain, hunted out, and ended up getting the crema de uva. Most grape varietals have that sweet candy. This is a little bit more like a full-bodied Merlot. We ended up with a gorgeous crema male. So now that the crema line has been so well received, it's so stable, we did a crema breed run using crema male pollen. Again, our friend Chris, Cypher Genetics, this is his prism times crema. No telling what to expect. Is it going to be sophisticated grape? Is it going to be body odor? We don't know. This is where a lot of males were. So when we pull them out, we have to keep the soil active. So we put God's gift in. These are here literally just to keep the soil busy. And then down there, we have Glulato. It's lit up the West Coast. A good friend of ours, he contributed that cut for this breed run. We kill so many plants here. So to get down to, let's say 12, we'll start with about 140 and kill every step of the way. I'll come in, I'll look at this, I'm doing my thing, I'll see something I don't like, I just kill the plant. If it's good, that's great. But if it isn't great, that's not good. So there are times we go a year and a half, get to the end of it, go, it's good, but throw it all away, start completely over. So this is my little fun spot. It's R&D, so it's a try out new lights, try out a new formula for the soil. Anything that we want to try before we throw in production, we'll do it in here. Customers deserve an organic option. They deserve a lower THC, a higher THC, you know, whatever it is. We don't want to pretend that we dictate what the market wants. We just want to put it out there and see what the market receives. Take a look at some worms.
You got any in there?
There's one right
Oh, look at that, dude.
there. They eat and excrete. So largely you don't have to feed nitrogen at all because the plants are getting it from the worm castings that are built into the soil. But those worms will tell you if your soil is healthy or not. If your worms aren't happy, you've got a big problem. And for the record, I do want to say shout out to Kaba. When they came at us and said, try LED, I'm on the fence on them. And their perspective was put them in, try them, beat the crap out of them, and give us honest feedback. So we're trialing these guys out. And so far, we're liking them. They veg like a beast. You saw the moms, you saw the nursery, right? And what Rach said was, well, today's Saturday, 2 days ago, we rolled plants down and went to production. I'm gonna hand you guys over to Sam, our GM.
Cool.
But here we go. Yo, Sam!
This is all of our flower rooms, or kind of veg flower. We generally drop them in for about 20 days before we flip them. This is what Rachel gives us. This is one of our own cultivars, Jam Jam over here. And this is the classic Deadhead OG. Yeah, so this one's planted in our living soil. Jam Jam, I'm not sure if Carrie talked about this cultivar. This was named after a friend of Carrie's that had breast cancer. Her name was Jamie. She was just a really great cannabis advocate in Colorado. She got a lot of help from it. We're asked if we can have a cultivar. And it just happened to be right after one of our breeding projects. It was just a perfect match with the Jam Jam. It's super fruity, super crystally, just a really great cultivar that we wind up keeping. So we named it after her. We do 2 cultivars per room generally. We'll do an R&D run of 1. We'll give it 1 bed. We generally do 2 cultivars per room. Keep it pretty simple. We find the ones that like to grow together. You know, I started as a medical grower in Mendocino. Grew from my mother-in-law who had cancer. That's when I moved to Oregon in 2003. I immediately got my card. I was actually had a little situation with the police in Mendocino in 1999, and they pretty much took everything we had. At that moment, after getting through the system, I wanted this to be how I made a living. When I moved to Oregon, I got my medical license, and then I just kind of got, back into it, really good at it. A buddy of mine said, hey, I got this grow going. I kind of started running that, and one thing led to another. I met Carrie, and we kind of hit it off, and Rachel. Finally realized that, this is what I do. This is me. I wanted to get as high as I could in the garden without being pulled out of it. As long as my hands are in the soil, I'm happy.
All right, y'all, we're here with Spencer. He is the Afterlife Care Director here at Hometown Cultivation. What that realistically means in the world of growing cannabis is?
Late stage, so week 5 to 9 usually.
You're taking the weed in a pretty important stage of its life, all the way to the end.
Absolutely.
All right, what do we got? All right, so Spence, talk to me a little bit about the strain and what we're looking at, the colas, the spacing, and kind of like what you work on when you're here in the room.
The focus on crema is because we have that spacing between buds, we kind of want to bulk them up. So in the last week when we're flushing, I really like to rely on that soil health, so it grabs when it's trying to bulk up. You know, I'm watering it 3 times a week. I'm just trying to give it that love, get some of those leaves out of the way so that the tops can really focus on finishing.
Carrie was talking about not necessarily being so picky about controlling the environment and not letting anything in or out, or killing everything. Like, there's a lot of stuff living here right now. Am I gonna find a 4-leaf clover here too? I feel like I could get lucky with weed and also with some of these other types of plants.
Absolutely, I've actually found 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what a funny joke to actually make and be real.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Jam Jam is more like a subtle fruity, so more like a Smartie versus like a Jolly Rancher, which is kind of more like the crema.
It's less tart and more creamy on it.
Exactly. She's been a little harder to figure out growing wise. She had crazy spacing between buds as well. We've learned to kind of shorten it.
Yeah, I mean, look at that, is triked out, dude.
We just keep that top trellis up. We cut the bottom out and then we just flop them out. We got a little, basically like a speed rack with weights on it. We just go ahead and weigh it, log it, take it down to our dry room.
Is it the whole plant you're measuring, or are you clipping off branches and measuring those?
We do whole plant.
Cool.
Yeah, whole plant harvest is a little easier on us since we're a smaller team.
They've got some fire nugs coming through. Look at that one. That one's like sitting there with like a light on it out of heaven. Right? It's like, ah. So you can see it's getting perfect light. See that one back there? Look at this. Look how bright she is. She was getting that perfect light on her.
The soil food web is like our main focus. So we want healthy bacteria, healthy fungus, and that will give us healthy plants.
Yep.
That's our main focus with the teas specifically, is fostering all of that microbial activity in the soil, and that's how we get this. Weirdly though, after doing this for a while, I can almost smell when the soil is good. It has a specific scent to it, like when it rains.
What I like to see about this is it's got this garden element, right? Having these different bugs, the worms, these other plants in here. Like you said, you're creating a unique environment that's rich for these plants.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
Oregon is a deli style state, right? When you go into a retailer here, we don't have prepackaged flour. So you're not able to wow anyone on your packaging. The store is going to have a big 1 gallon jar, and you're buying on look, smell, recommendation. For brands like us, your flour has to tell your story. You can't achieve it through a marketing. In Oregon, there's some really good flour brands. The fact that we're even on the shelf with some of the brands is just, we're truly blessed, right? Especially being so young, less than a year old as a company. All we're trying to do is give consumers another option that's fully organic. It's never been sprayed at all during the flower cycle. If that means something to you, wonderful. We're going to fill that void.
Yes.
And if not, we'd say, hey, give it a try. And what we find more often than not is it's like having a really good filet mignon, grass-fed beef or whatever you eat.
You can literally taste, or as some of your patients have said, they can literally feel the difference, or the word was the clarity of the difference.
What we continue to hear when people reach out to us is, I've always had cannabis, for 20 years, but suddenly I had your guys, and the experience, there was more clarity to it. Their word, not ours.
Yeah.
But we hear that pretty much almost, every time someone reaches out. So to have Kat and Spence, and then Sam and Rach, and just, this is it. And we have one more guy, James, who's just as chill as the rest of these guys. We're just weird, normal dorks. We're wanting to put a flower option out there that we ourselves really want. And I know a lot of growers say that, but for us, for whether it's a medical condition or just years of experience, we're looking for that really organic, flavorful experience. And I hope that when you guys try the flower, that you'll agree. And if not, tell the truth, man. It's online. I don't care.
Make sure you guys come to Oregon, ask for hometown cultivation, start teaching yourself and learning about living soil and the differences of those things. And if you guys have any questions, where can the people reach out, Gary?
LinkedIn, I'm there. But as far as the website, there's a way to contact us that comes straight to us, and we're hyper responsive. So any questions, complaints, criticisms, compliments,
the URL? What's the actual
hometowncultivation.com.
Simple enough, man. RespectByRegion.com. I'm Jay Ping. This is the North American Weed Tour. We're in Springfield, Oregon. Make sure you guys type in with Hometown Cultivation. We'll see you on the next episode. Love you guys. Peace.